don't wanna fall back down, 'cause I already touched the ground. So please hear me. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't really know what's on, 'cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't know where to go. Yeah, I'm a hopeless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't really know what's on, 'cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go. Feelings overflow. I don't know where to go. Yeah, I'm a hopeless soul.
Just met you, but you look. Oh, girl, you blow my mind. I know what I would like to do, but you just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me, but I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. Wanna see you move. Sure, I like to listen. It's not like I don't wanna know. It's just that you've been talking to me 3 nights in a row. I think it's time to let go. Forget the past, just lose control. 'Cause life's too short for yapping. Come on and dance, come give me soul. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking. You keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking, but I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move.
What's going on? What's going on? We are back. Shout out to the CIA, the confident, intelligent, and assertive men out there. One love to the FBI, you feminine, beautiful, inspirational lady. Let's get it. In the chat room. Age, city, gender, let's get it. Come on. Yeah. Woo! We are back. Let's get it. Shout out to all the PhDs. Let's give him the PhD mega mix.
The PhD.
Like, you know, if you have a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
The PhD mega mix. Move your big sexy PhD. Hey. What that is? Come on. No, he didn't say that. Yeah, he did. I'm a PhD. Shout out to all the dog moms. Good living, good loving. Big Shelly. You know how we do. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We are back. We are back. We are back. Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope we are doing good. Hope we are doing well. I know I am. Get these cameras sorted out straight over here. Remove that. And that's what we got going on. So, what an eventful last 200. What an eventful last couple of weeks has been. Last couple of weeks it has been. So, but as usual, we're gonna keep on moving. What we're gonna do tonight, make sure we keep the engagement up over 50%. The engagement is the likes or dislikes. Do whatever you like. It all counts the same. As long as you keep the engagement up over 50%, you won't have to hear the intermission sound, which comes through like this. But if you don't, that whole song will play. It's my goal to not have to play it because we got a lot going on. Let's see, how many people do we have in here right now? A whole lot. A whole lot. We got 4,000 people in here already to begin with. Good, great. All right. What else is going on? Merry Happy Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa. Or whatever it is you study. Whatever it is you do, get your life on. Shout out to everybody that's going on that I'm helping. Shout out to everybody that's going to be making a little extra Christmas money for all the videos talking about these topics. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I have no problem with it. If you are making money talking about the topic, great. And for those who are not making money talking about the topic, talking about referring to me, even better. It all counts. It all counts because the conversation is started. The train is pulled out of the station and we ain't going back. Candle of the evening. We got two. This one is from Francis Kirk Jean. It's probably my favorite holiday candle. I cannot pronounce it. My French is terrible. But yeah, it's pine. And then the other one is going to be La Lobo Pine 12. Fragrance of the evening. Since we're going to do the Tom Ford thing tonight, Tom Ford, when he was the creative director of Yves Saint Laurent, he made this fragrance here called M7. The master, Tom Ford, brought Western perfumery, oud, to the North American market. And that's this fragrance right here. M7. Kind of hard to find it anymore. But sometimes I like to just bust it out on special occasions because I'm digging it. All right. Moderators, you have the chat room. And if it starts to get even busier, we're already on slow mode in the chat room. So people, here's some basic ground rules. Keep it cool, keep it classy, no pejoratives, no cursing. Don't be mentioning other content creators in my chat room. You know, don't type in all caps. Let's just have a conversation tonight because we're going to ask a question. Are modern women overqualified for marriage? Hold on. Turn the fan in here a little bit. Gets a little warm up under all these lights. Thought something was a little off. Are modern women overqualified for marriage? We're going to keep on moving. The next show is going to be on Thursdays. For the rest of the year, we might do Tuesday and Thursday because I'm really supposed to be on holiday break. But yeah, let's get it. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you've heard me talk about one thing. As an image consultant, and a social skills coach, a life coach, when I work with men, in particular when I work with men, what I was finding out is a guy would come to me and we would work on his image, which is ABCD, his appearance, his behavior, communication, digital footprint. Taking this guy from here to there. When guys were going out into the world, they were all coming back and reporting, where are all the women? Where are all the wives? Where are all the marriageable women at? Where are they? And this is from coast to coast. Guys are saying, where are the women? To the point, I started asking the question. All right, where are they? Because for the longest, we have heard that where are all the marriageable men? Where are all the good men? And over here, I only concern myself with the top 20% of men. That's just the bottom line. I'm an image consultant. I don't concern myself with the 100% of anything. So for people coming over here talking about what about the insides and that, I'm an image consultant. You don't go to your heart surgeon to get a teeth cleaning, okay? I have a very specific thing that I do. I don't worry about how we got there. I worry about outcomes and return on investment. So if you want me to sit down and care about the feelings, that ain't my charge in life. It's about how to get the outcome. I don't judge the outcome you say you want. I help you try to understand how realistic it is to get it and what you're going to have to input to put yourself in that ballpark. That's it. So that's why I find it funny. A lot of people who have a lot to say about me these days, but they seem to not understand that as an image consultant and a life coach, a social skills life coach, I'm not charged with a lot of this other stuff. But more on that later. We more on that one later. All right. So the question, it kept coming back. Men kept coming back and saying that, look, man, where are all of the marriageable women at? Where are they at? And I had to admit, because I talked to, my clients, the guys that I work with, the guys who are in the top 10, the top 20%, that are feeding into that top 10%, And I also work with women in the top 20 to 30% of women who want those men in the top 10 to 20%. That's pretty much what I concern myself with. The men over here, the doctors, the lawyers, the financiers, the real estate, the entrepreneurs, the blue collar guys who own firms, the business owners, what they were coming back saying is women of my age, in my demographic, plus or minus 5, where are they? Plus or minus 5 years, where are they? To where a larger and larger amount of men over the age of 40, 35 to 40, found themselves having to look for younger women. That's a problem too, because so many people have an issue and opinion about a lot of stuff. But here's the thing: if you're a single person out here, you know what it's like to date. So I don't really listen to what married people are saying, because when I was married, trust me, being married is completely different than being single, especially in this environment. And if you're out here in the current mating and dating market, you know it's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard out here for a pimpstress. Let's get real. But the question is, are modern women overqualified for marriage? And I want to run down some things that a lot of modern women are told when it comes to marriage. 6,000 people. Let's see. Well, let me do it this way. I actually, let's do it this way. On my community page on YouTube, I put up a poll and I asked, I put up a poll on YouTube, and it basically said, is there a shortage of qualified marriageable men in today's marketplace? Let's put that up on the screen. Okay. This is what I put up on YouTube. Is the problem, is this it? Is the issue, I asked the guys, gentlemen, is there a shortage of qualified marriageable women in today's marketplace? You look at the total votes, right around 7,600. 83% of men said, yes, there is a shortage of qualified marriageable women on today's marketplace. Now, the read more is, I will go ahead and pull it up right here, because what I wanted to do is I just wanted to get the feedback from the guys. No judgment, no heat, no judgment, but you start hearing what men are saying. 83% of men, excuse me, close a bunch of these windows. So none of us, God, a lot of windows open. When you're busy, you got a lot of stuff going on. So I asked the guys, and this is not scientific, so let's not try to go there with it. Is there a shortage of qualified marriageable women in today's dating place? Please answer without regard for how you personally feel or think about the current legal, political, or fill-in-the-blank landscape. In other words, I just want to hear from the guys. Was there a shortage of qualified marriageable women? Overwhelmingly, men said yes. 83% of men said yes. Okay. In the chat room, ladies, does that surprise you, ladies? Is that surprising to anybody that men overwhelmingly said, yes, there is a shortage? But then you go down to, I asked the following question for women. Ladies, is there a shortage of qualified marriageable men in today's marketplace? Of 3,600 votes from presumably women, 30% of women said yes, there's a shortage. 70% of the women said no. So why is it that 83% of men says there's a shortage of qualified marriageable women on the marketplace, but only 30% of women? How do I know these numbers are about right? Well, I know my analytics on my channel, and I looked at the number of respondents, and it's in the ballpark. Meaning the total number of men responding, 8,500, pretty much corresponds to the percentage of men who are subscribed to this channel. And the number of women, 3,600, pretty much corresponds to the women. What I want to know is how many people are surprised that men, over 80% of men says the problem on the current marital landscape is not whether or not they want to get married. If the problem is 8 out of 10 men say there are no marriageable wives, no marriageable women. See, who's surprised by that? $6,800 people watching. Who's surprised by that? Personally, I'm not surprised by it anymore. Because after talking to men for over, what we see in modern media, on social media, is a concept, a conversation that's been one way from women's point of view. Men have learned that if they tell the truth, they will be attacked and silenced. Look at what's going on with me. Of all the people who have something to say about about this video, average at best, one thing you have not heard them say is he lied. They haven't said he's wrong. Instead, they skipped right on past that and gone all the way over to the thing to start pandering to women. So let's go ahead and when we talk about pandering to women, there he is. There's the pander bear. There's the pander bear. They've gone all the way from what I said in a 28-minute video. They skipped to the last 2 minutes and made a 3-hour video about 2 minutes. Why? Because there's the pander bear pandering to women. Oh, the inhumanity, what he did to that young girl, that little girl. That was a 35-year-old entrepreneur, mother of a 13-year-old. And then you got people out here calling her a young girl. That's a middle-aged woman. But you know, when you got to pull out the pander bears, got to get out there and do those dances, got to get out there and pander for the ladies. Oh, no, y'all ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. Don't look over there. Don't follow that big bad man. He's lying to you. He's abusing you. He's bashing you. You're the victim. Actually, don't listen to him because he's really secretly gay. Oh, we're going to get into all of that another day. Because what people want me to do is go talk about that. But I'm not. I'm going to keep talking about what I'm talking about. And y'all can continue to talk about me and make up all the lies you want to. I've already addressed all this other stuff, but keep it moving. Ladies, understand something. When people are lying to you, why are they lying to you? When you can look in your own life and see that, man, my dating life hasn't been that good. I'm average. But then people are coming around and telling you, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She's a very attractive woman. She's this, she's that. I never said anything other than that. The woman said I'm average and my dating life hasn't been that great. That makes sense. But the pander bears have to come out. Why? Who benefits? You don't benefit from somebody telling you what you want to hear. Go to the oncologist and let him tell you what you want to hear versus giving you what you need to hear and a treatment plan and see what that gets you. I mean, we know what this is. We know what this is. Why is it 8 out? And here's the thing. Shout out to the thousands of men who have emailed me, IM'd me, tweeted me, but more importantly, direct message me. I have had messages from everyday working men saying thank you for telling the truth that needed to be told. I've had men stop me here or there. Can I take a picture with you, sign your autograph? I've had women say the same thing. But what's overwhelming is the men. The men everywhere. Even when I've had politicians, actors, entertainers, athletes, musicians, business people, people with public profiles, because they know I won't mention their name, who started off saying, thank you. Now, I could never say that, but thank you for saying what needs to be said. If I mention some of the names of people, of men who have reached out and said thank you, y'all lose your mind. And it's not the typical people you're probably thinking of. Why is this such a big deal? Why? It's because men are finally starting to be heard. And that's what you need to move any kind of conversation forward. If 8 out of 10 men feel like there are no marriageable women in today's marketplace, but 3 out of 10 women believe the problem is there's no marriageable men in today's marketplace, that is huge. How can almost 100% of how can over 80% of men see a marketplace one way and 30% of women see it this way? How is that possible? How is that possible? Well, I'll tell you how it's possible. Let's bring in the panda bears. Let's bring in the panda bears. Hi, Panda Bear. Let's bring in the panda bears, because here's what modern women have been told. It's easy to get down on yourself when you've been single and it seems like an eternity, but you shouldn't blame yourself or let it get you down. There's nothing wrong with you, and you are more deserving of having a great guy in your life, even if it hasn't happened yet. Sometimes the reason you're single and finding love seems so much harder is simply because you're overqualified for it.
That was pathetic.
That's what women are being told. In droves. Go look on any modern dating and mating guide that speaks primarily to women, and that's what you're going to hear. But ladies, while it may feel good to your ears, look on your left ring finger, and is there a ring from a man of any value? Is there a wedding ring from a man of any value on it? Do you have a potential man of value actively seeking you to be his wife? His whatever, whether it's state-sponsored marriage, whether it's jumping the broom, whatever you call it. The stuff that tickles your ears, is it getting you the result, the outcome that you want? And my answer is no. Because when you look at the, especially in the Black community, new marriage rates are. So when so many people got upset when I said, if you don't change what you're doing, you're going to die alone. Women like you die alone. I said it and I meant it because I've seen it. I have seen good women die alone, unmarried, work themselves into a grave, and look up at the end of their life and had nothing. No husband, no children, no nothing. Just a broken body, broken spirit. I have seen this too much. Now, in Korea and Japan, there's a whole thing going on called kodakoshi, where adults are dying by themselves and being discovered. Look it up. This is a Western phenomenon because of, well, I don't want to get out deep into it. This is not new, people, but it's really hitting our community harder. Why? Because of just look at what happened when I said just the truth. Look at what came out. Who honestly thinks the response that was given was over the top, or was the punishment that fit the crime? Why did it have such a knee-jerk reaction? Because modern women have been told you're overqualified. The problem is men. Modern women have been told you've got your crap together and you're killing it in life. And that makes it hard for you to find love. That's what modern women have been told. You're too good, sis. You're too good, ma. You got your PhD.
I'm a PhD.
And you out here killing it. And it's all these dusty, crusty, busted dudes out here that's gay, down low, in jail, everything else. Forget the fact that 51% of black men are single and childless and 64% in the middle class. No, that can't be right. Tell me where your statistics are from. Where are those numbers at? Because I'm not married. Well, is it that you're overqualified, or is it quite possibly that you need some help to become more fit for what 83% of men are saying? Women have also been told you're overqualified for marriage because your standards are higher, because you know you deserve it. Women have been told because you're completely over all these mindless hookups and silly stuff like that. I can't fault for that one, but this is the stuff you've been told. You know, as somebody who was baptized at 5, grew up in a Baptist church, then we went Kojic, I will tell you one of the reasons, in my opinion, so many men have left the church is because there's no balance. I got 2 videos on my channel talking about the rise of what I consider to be Christian feminists. Opinions, personally opinions, observable facts, observable reality, but it's things I've seen. And talking to hundreds of men, having worked in church, and men got tired of seeing that male leadership and authority was so diminished, even in God's house. Why are men leaving the church? Here's the thing. The answer ultimately is you don't want to ask men why they're not marrying or going down the aisle or coupling up with women, because you're afraid of the answer. That's really what it comes down to. A lot of women are afraid of the answer. A lot of women are told you're overqualified for marriage because it's harder to find a guy on your level.
I'm a PhD.
Yeah, it's hard to find a guy on your level. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and give you the PhD remix for that one.
The PhD.
Like, you know, if you have a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
We need the PhD remix for that one. What's the PhD remix? Oh, I'm glad you asked. All the people that tell you because you got a PhD, a master's, or this or that, that makes your level go up here. That has nothing to do with qualifying you for marriage. Just like owning a business has nothing to do with qualifying you for marriage. That's not what men judge on. Not what men judge on, and I didn't make up the rules, so don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, because I didn't make up the rules. But let me chime in on this one right now, since we're getting into it. Shout out to Sister Shahrazad Ali. Take down the Panda Bears. I put this up on my community wall. Overheard. White women go to college to find a husband. Black women go to college to prove they don't need one. Overheard from Shahrazad Ali. I actually heard her say that. And this is something I've been hearing since 1990. Something I've been hearing since 1990. That the reason so many sisters go to school is not, well, it's for exactly what you said. But I want to bring people's attention to a comment from a sister. I don't want to put her name in there. Well, it's on my comment section. Sister writes, I see this based off of my parents. My mom asked me when I'm going to marry. My mom asked me when I'm going to make more money based off of my education and experience, while my dad asked me when I'm going to get married and have his grandkids. A black woman has a mother asking her about a job and a career, and a dad is asking her about grandkids and a husband. Is that not backwards? Shouldn't it be the other way around? But unfortunately, it's been marketed so much to women that your PhD.
The PhD.
Like, you know, if you have a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
Your degree and everything else matters. And when you're getting on the open market and finding out that guys just don't value that like that. More on that later. Let's see what's going on. 8,800 people in here. Keep the likes up. Keep it moving. Another thing is, a lot of ladies have been told you're overqualified for marriage because you won't just date for the sake of dating anyone anymore. You won't just date for the sake of dating anymore. So this is the I'm focusing on myself. See, again, I said people don't come over here for the lights and the candle show. I mean, the candle light show. We get into issues that we need to talk about. If women are being consistently given one message and men are seeing something else, don't just date for the sake of dating anymore. So you have women focusing on their career, focusing on this, focusing on that, looking up, and a good 6 or 7 years go by and you haven't dated, and your relationship muscles have atrophied. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one. You're overqualified because your life is already amazing as it is. I mean, hey, you got a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
And you brought your dog. And you're going on a girls' trips, and you and the girls are fluding out for hot girl summer, and you can go buy your Birkin bag for yourself, and you got your condo. You got enough. You have all the resources. So what do you need a man for? Your life is amazing as it is. But the funny thing is, especially for all these people who keep trying to call me gay and make me gay, the funny thing is when I'm out and about and I see groups of women, professional women out and about, 4, 6, 8 at a time, all over the place. The funny thing is, when I see these women out having these amazing lives, they're all taking pictures of their food and post it on Instagram. But then they all leave and go separately. It looks amazing, but they're all going home by themselves. And the guys that do show up are the gay guys. Because apparently you want to insult the black man by calling him gay, but I find it funny that most of you like gay black men more than you like heterosexual black men. Because you look at especially popular influencers, such and so forth, if there are black men around, they're your makeup artist or your hairstylist. I got no problem with the LGBT community, but I find it funny that some of you sisters are some of the most homophobic people in the world. Soon as a man says something you don't want to hear, he's gay. Which is it? Do you hate gay? Is it a slur? Is it a diss? Or do you like them? We know what it is. You can't deal with the argument, so you want to try to color the conversation and get somebody emotional acting on feelings. That ain't going to work over here. You need to find something better than the gay argument. It's not going to work. You're wasting your time. We've already debunked this, but every time it happens, and I think it's funny that it's the first thing that people go to. Ad hominem means against the man. When it's the first thing you sassy men go to as an insult. I find it funny. I've seen some of the most sassy insults from so-called men. I'm like, really? Huh. More on that later. Overqualified for marriage because you're focusing on other things in the meantime. Your life is already amazing. You're focusing on other things. I'm just doing me. I'm just worried about me. But see, the problem is, are any of these reasons for not? Anyway, I don't want to go too far. Oh, here's the next one. You're overqualified for marriage because a guy can't compete when you're already whole. Women are being told this. A guy can't compete or complete you when you're already whole. A guy can't complete you when you're already whole. I'm sorry. Jerry Maguire, you complete me. But women are being told you're complete already. And ultimately, is any of this advice that feels good to your ears and makes money run out of your wallet and your purse, is it getting you the outcome it is you want? You're already whole. You complete me. As if a relationship with a man is going to be a net negative. Well, hold on. You're overqualified for marriage when you're not looking for handouts. You're looking for real love. You want real love. You want real connection. You want real this. I've said it before and I say it again. Love comes later. Especially when you're over age 35. Love comes later. Love is for young people, in my opinion. Love is for 27 and under. When you're in the danger zone, 27 to 35, Harlequin romance and Disney stuff, that kind of starts to wane. But when it's over 35, when you show enough in no man's land, 35 to 36 to 60, Tina, you better start asking what's love got to do with it. Well, you better start asking Tina Turner what's love got to do with it. When your love life is looking like this, not now. Not no man's land. That's no man's land. That's what dating looks like for far too many women over the age of 36. Barren, dry, and desolate. Because especially when you are a hot little something or other in your late teens, 20s, but once 30 happens, all of a sudden, you're not getting the VIP like you used to. And all other things start to happen, especially you hit 36. You still look in the mirror and you feel like you're something else, but no. Over there. You're not looking for handouts. You're looking for love. You're looking for love. Now understand, how can you find love if you're not dating, focusing on yourself, overqualified? Your life is already amazing. You're not just dating for the sake of dating anymore. It's hard to find somebody on your level. Your standards are high because they deserve it. You got your crap together. The advice on the internet that's already sponsored. How can you find love if you're already thinking like this? And at the end of the day, how can you find anything when you're how can you find anything or when you're being told or you feel you're overqualified because you know your worth and you won't settle? This is one of the biggest excuse me. This is one of the biggest things with modern women here. I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle. We're not going to settle. I am sorry. When did average or normal become an insult? When it became synonymous with settling. We have so many women today who think of getting with somebody that's suitable as settling. This is why 80+% of men think that women are not marriageable in today's marketplace, because many women have some, if not all, of these characteristics. Women, by extension, say only about 30% of men share this. Now, that was just something I pulled that I did on YouTube. On Instagram, I asked the same. I only asked on Instagram. I asked the question only to ladies because my Instagram has really gotten much bigger, and there's so many more women over there. And funny thing is, the women on Instagram mirrored the same thing as the ladies on YouTube. Two different platforms, two different women, but roughly 30% of women on Instagram. I was really surprised. I thought I would see at least 60, 70, maybe even 80% women saying there are no real qualified men out here. Nope. Women on Instagram even were saying, no. Only about 30% of women said that the problem is not that there are no men out here. The problem is something different. So, how many people are surprised? How many ladies are surprised, or how many guys are surprised to see that the women are not saying that the issue is that there's a lack of qualified men? How many women are surprised to hear the amount of men saying the problem is the lack of qualified women? That's what I talked about when I decided to open the mixed group. It's in line with the information I found out when I started talking to clients who were coming back, who the majority of them were wanting to be married. So if men want to get married, if men want relationship, what does it bode for a man if he's saying, if 8 out of 10 men say that only thing out here is short term or hookup? Because if it's not marriage, what is it? If you come in here and type in all caps, okay, so here's what we're going to do. If you come in and type in all caps, you're going to get timed out. I've told you that before. Just a second. We're going to open the call line. Because what I want to hear from the ladies is, do you share, one, what do you think? Do you think that the issue is that there are no qualified men out here, that women are overqualified, or individually, how can, okay, we can take it either way, but here's a real question. As a woman out there, how do you separate yourself and show the 83% of men out here that think that they're not enough qualified women that you are? Because men still have to pick. And if men are not picking, men are not choosing, it's because they don't think they're qualified. Well, how do you separate yourself and put yourself in the, let me go ahead and say it, pick me category? The pick me category, the pick me. See, we've made positive things negative. Yes, you want somebody to pick you, to be a wife. No matter how you determine marriage, whether it's jumping the broom backwards, turning and spinning the hokey pokey, whatever, you want to be picked for something. How do men who want to have a serious relationship know to pick you? How do they know? Because most men don't think that you're out there anyway. Let's get into it. Now, here's the only thing. If you want to get on the show, you're going to have to make sure that you have YouTube turned off in the background. Have the sounds muted. You need to be on Conversation with Me because I can't have all the background noise and all that stuff going on. Let's get into it. I really want to hear from the women on this because it's December 15th. Christmas is going to be spent alone. Make this the last one.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar, un lugar para trabajar, y si no hay para emigrar. Todo money, money, todo el dinero. Solo un par de gente se lleva el botín entero. Funny, pasa verdadero. Si tienes lo verde siempre llegará primero. Pero llegaremos antes o después. Solo a lo suyo, que Dios te la ve. Que por más que tarde lo veré caer. Somos más lo bueno y tenemos fe. El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo fue. Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Yo digo las cosas como son. No quiero ninguna aceptación. Tampoco vengo a pedir perdón porque mis sentimientos se volvieron la canción. Yeah. No me vale mucho como tú me ves. Sabes, tú me llegas solo a los pies. Para mí ser grande es un interés. Ser un buen humano para mí es un deber. El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo fue. Money work. Yeah. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. de corazón. La plata no te hace ser feliz. Yeah, de corazón, yeah. La plata no te hace ser feliz. Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah, 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 yeah. Money work. Money work. Money work. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Lunes. Lunático.
There we go. Money World. Shout out to Tierra Scoops. Gone with your bad self. Nice chocolate sister up there dancing happy. It's a good thing, man. All right. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Remember, I'll be nice to you if you're nice to me. That's all we ask is you just be polite. Only rule is you cannot overtalk the guest. You cannot overtalk the host. That's it. Answering some questions because, again, the guys that you would want to marry think that you don't exist. And how can you actually, like it or not, ladies, if you're going to sell a car, you have to take it out of the garage and put it out somewhere where somebody can see it. Then you have to list the car somewhere. No one can come buy your car. No one new can come buy your car if it's in the garage. All right. So here we go. Jiminy Christmas. Antoinette, unmute yourself, please. Hello. Are modern women overqualified for marriage?
Makes sense. Yes, I agree there because they've been told about how they should be so independent and like you were saying about you really don't need a man and you have everything in place. But you're right. In the end, they go home by themselves. And so about 10 of my girlfriends, all Black, are single and they're all doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they have conversations with me, they're saying the same things. I won't settle. You know, why does he want me to give my best when he won't give his best?
Right.
Those kind of things. So I think we've been told that, but.
Well, there was I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I can't play it, but on ABC in 2009, ABC Nightline had a program said 42% of black women are unmarried. I'm not going to play it on my channel, but I'll leave the link. And it was 10 years ago. And it profiled a bunch of attractive, successful black women who were all saying 10 years ago, 11 years ago, the same thing you're saying now. The problem is they never asked the men. So when you talk to your friends, what are they saying that some of the issues are with the men that they are finding on the marketplace?
They're saying that the men want them to give their best, but the men want to give their best, but the men won't give their best to them. Like they want them to sacrifice and give them time, but when they're together, or they won't make time for them, or when they're together, they won't do the things that pleases them.
Okay.
That's what they're saying to me. But then at the same time, I think sometimes they're looking for something to be wrong. Like a few of my friends, they're just waiting for the man to do something wrong.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't fit in their idea of what he should do or what he should be.
Do any of your friends watch this show? I doubt it.
I asked one of my friends tonight, I actually text her and said, hey, he's on live. Would you get on and let's all get on and listen to him together and have a discussion. And one of them said that you're too abrasive for them and you demean women. But I said, well, a lot of it's true, what he's saying. Maybe some ways he says maybe not be to some people's liking, but it's the truth. So no, I don't think they're listening.
Tomorrow night I'm going to have a Clubhouse meeting. I'm going to be on Clubhouse tomorrow. I'm on Clubhouse and I'll be having a meeting tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're on Clubhouse and you want to join the meeting, find me. See, this whole notion of he's too abrasive, you know what I find that, Antoinette, I think that's a lot of women's way of saying, deflecting, just so they don't have to deal with it. You know, saying you're too abrasive, but yet I would be, I would almost guarantee your friends are not shrinking violets.
No, they're not.
So I find
They're
it
not.
interesting that women, I've had seen women in tears behind how abrasive I was. I'm like, are you serious? This life is hard. And we get to the point of like, if a black man says, and here's the thing, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And the thing is, if you think this is too abrasive, then you really can't handle what you're going to have to do to get with one of these men who think that you're not out there. So I'll ask, have you ever referred any of your friends to like a matchmaker, therapy, anything like that?
No, I haven't. I don't know if they would be open to it because they don't feel like anything's wrong with them.
Thank you. Broadcast over. Modern women that like this don't think. And how arrogant is that, ladies? The people who have a problem with me, how arrogant is it to think that women think that because you have a PhD,
I'm a PhD.
a car, some money, that there's nothing wrong with you. But then we're quick to say that there's something wrong. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for calling in. I wish you'd get one of them come on to the show. That would be interesting.
When is that, tomorrow night, you said?
Well, I'm going to be back on Thursday night, but I'm going to have something on Wednesday on the Clubhouse, because here's the thing. Just like men have not been engaged in the conversation, we're going to have to find a way to get women like your friends at the table to have a discussion. You guys having a discussion amongst yourselves and you trying to advocate, women are going to have to come to the table to have a discussion if they're going to find anybody. Because if you don't think that, if the problem is always out there, if there's nothing you can improve on, then they should have the results they want, but that's not happening. Okay. We're back on Thursday, but I will list on my community tab, I will list the Clubhouse app link for the conversation tomorrow night. Okay?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Hold on. Money world. Yeah. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I find it interesting that so many women there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. It's always the guys. All right. Kyla has Kayla Payne. Who are you? You have your hand raised. All right. Unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi, how old are you? All right. What can I do for you?
And so, I've been tuning in to your broadcast, and I just love your honesty. I'm a Bible believing woman, and I've been really like meditating on this. Marriage is where I want to be, right? So I have a quick quote, and I just want to thank you for your broadcast. But it says, wife is a title. And so my prayer was, Lord, help me to be a helpmate, right? Because that's the original purpose of being a wife. And so I've been studying this. God has been putting me through a little, what is it called? A thing. But I really appreciate where you're coming from. It's not that a lot of us are overqualified. It's a lot of us are underqualified because we're not taking this time to become the helpmate, become the person that a man wants us to be, like you've been talking about. So I'm just so grateful for you.
Well, I appreciate it, sis. Keep your head up. Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to so if you have a disagreement, you're welcome to call in too, ladies. If you think that the problem ain't you guys, first off, if you have a disagreement or you think I'm off base, raise your hand. I'm going to lower everybody's hand. If you have a disagreement, raise your hand in the comment section. Raise your hand. There's a button over there that says raise your hand. And after that, we're going to get on to the next level. Yeah, I like to switch out my candles. Should I leave a candle burning for about an hour? Yep. From the bougie school 101 of candle burning. You mess your candle up. I guess that makes me gay too, because I like my house to smell good. Well, God damn it. See, here's the thing. I'm going to have fun with this gay stuff. I'm going to have a whole lot of fun with this. All right. Let's see. Who's up next? Whitney. You're up next. Whitney, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I am well. What do you got for me?
So, my hand was raised before you mentioned the disagreement, so I don't have a disagreement.
Okay. Well, go ahead. What
But
you
what
got?
I don't think that we're overqualified. I don't think that we even understand the concept of marriage because I think society has shaped it to be about love. You know, love is love and marriage is about love. And I think that's why there's such a high rate of divorce. And
Mm-hmm.
when those expectations aren't met, I think that's why 70% of women file for divorce.
Okay. Well, you know what, Whitney? You're just a pick me. You're just a pick me. That's all you are. You're a pick me, and you want to submit to the feet of the black male patriarchy so you can be abused and subjugated. Don't you know no better? No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. I'm gonna come back to you because Tracy has some smoke. Come on, Tracy, bring the smoke. No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Tracy.
Hello,
What
can
do
you hear me?
Yeah, your first name is Tracy?
It is.
Hi, how old are you? I forgot to ask the other person. How old are you?
I'm 23.
All right, good. What do you got for me?
So actually I don't have any smoke. I was
Uh-oh.
but I think I have a good discussion point to make with the
Okay.
whole PhD thing. So I'm currently a PhD student. Yes, I know I'm a PhD.
I'm a PhD.
But I know. But I was calling is that what you're saying, I've noticed from all of my Black female mentors who are also quote unquote PhDs, they're all 40, single, childless, and like no man in their life at all.
Hold on. They're what? 40?
So all my mentors who are all 40 with PhDs, they're all Black females.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over 40. They're all single, unmarried, and don't have any kids.
Hold on. PhD mega remix.
The PhD.
Like, you know, if you have a PhD,
I'm a PhD.
Okay. Why? Why is it that so many Black women, like you just said, why do you think it is? Because I don't see this being a condition with non-Black women as much as it is with Black women.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because I noticed that most of the white women in my program, most of them get married during their graduate school degrees or even beforehand.
Uh-oh.
Whereas most of the Black women, they're avoiding it until after they graduated or whatnot because
Why?
they're so career driven, and they have I noticed there's this need to prove that they can like hold their own in a room or whatnot. I've noticed, and so most of the white women I work with, they're all married, but they're all PhDs.
So you've noticed. So when I talk about women white women went to college to find their husband, Black women go to college to prove they don't need one. That reinforces that. So what do you want for your life?
So I desire to be married and to be a wife and to be a mom. It's kind of funny. So with my mom, I spoke to her about this actually, and I told her, I said that being a wife and mom to me is more important than having a PhD. So I'm currently in school because I got full scholarship and I'm a nerd. I enjoy science. So I'm doing it, but best believe when it's time to have kids and get married, I can care less because it really doesn't matter in the long run when it comes to marriage.
So do you have anybody in your family helping you support that part of what you want out of your life?
Yes. So I'm currently dating someone seriously for marriage.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
See, this whole I'm a PhD thing, it's a joke, but it's not a joke. There's no reason you should have to be able to go to school, own a business, do any of those other things, and still not be able to still have a relationship. Attorney Hines. What you got? Hello?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 31.
What do you got for me?
I didn't have my hand raised. I didn't realize that everyone was getting called on.
Okay. Did you not have a question?
I didn't have a question.
Okay. You do or do not?
I do not.
Oh, you okay? You're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, since you're here, what is your opinion on the topic? Do you think modern women are overqualified for marriage?
I don't think modern women are overqualified. I think in general, both men and women are adequately qualified. I just think that a lot of the times the people who are qualified are not in the same space,
Okay.
and it's hard to connect,
Okay.
I think.
That's true. So did you see the little straw poll that I took? Where
Uh,
83% of the men said that the women there was a deficiency of marriageable women. 83% of men said the problem is that there are not enough qualified women to marry. And then 30% of women said that the problem is there's not enough qualified men to marry. Does that surprise you?
it does surprise me
Okay.
because I think I know, and I think a lot of people would say they know both men and women who are marriageable
Mm-hmm.
but are single.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think a lot of it just has to do with
Now,
people getting,
now you're an attorney, right?
yes,
All right. So you know a lot of people that are like you, just like that's anecdotal.
yes.
That straw poll I just did it at around 6 o'clock. There are roughly 7,600 votes from the men's side, a little over 7,500. And 83% of men said the problem is they can't find that there are not enough qualified marriageable women. So that goes far outside of your friend group, my friend group. And see, that's what I mean. We have to start looking at things outside of our anecdotal experience. The women's respondents was 2,600, which kind of mirrors the female population on my channel. And the women said only about 30% of them felt like the problem was there weren't enough marriageable men. So when I hear a woman like yourself coming in and say, I feel like both sides are equally qualified, that goes in direct opposition to what this quick little straw poll, or even what, and I think that's part of the problem too, because we don't see it.
I understand what you're saying. I think maybe we just don't, as women, fully understand what men mean by marriageable. Maybe that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If we're thinking that we are and they're thinking that we're not, then
Mm.
maybe we need to.
So what makes a woman marriageable? And if you had to just give a woman some things, what would make her marriageable?
I think a woman would be marriageable if she is prepared to support, prepared to be a mother, to be a wife, all the responsibilities that come with that, including putting yourself aside to put your family first, and having good mental health, having good physical health, um,
Okay.
and
So of all the things you said, would you say that represents roughly half of black women?
no.
So when the first thing you said, when you have to really give a deep dive, you ladies really don't know what men want. Or if you do, you're not doing it. I'm not saying you, but just even what you say, I roughly think it's split down the middle. Okay, what makes a marriageable? These things. I agree. A lot of those things are in there. But
I
if it doesn't even represent but the problem I see more than anything else, and what I'm hearing from men, is that you lady, well, not you, but women don't know what men want. And women have been so quick to tell men what they want, but they've not turned around and asked men what men want. You know
my
what the
per-
number? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think the same way for men though too, which is why I feel like it's equal. I think that half of Black men in America also don't meet the qualifications for marriage.
Well, let me. Okay, see, and that's a problem. Soon as I start to put accountability on women tend to want to go back and say, yeah, but the men too. That doesn't work to get the outcomes you want, ladies. It doesn't work. What you just that's a normal response. Yeah, but the men aren't up there either. Okay. 30% of women said that they felt like men that 70% of women said that they believe 70% of men are marriageable. That's over half.
Oh, I don't agree with those women.
But the thing is, okay, but here's the thing. You went to law school, and if you wanted to get into different levels of law school, you had to make different grades, score different on the LSAT. You had to do different things because you couldn't just go to Harvard or Yale just because you wanted to, right?
That's true.
You had to qualify. All right, you have to qualify to be married. And men are saying, here are the qualifications. And if you can't get it, it's not because the schools don't exist. If one out of 4 black women will marry in their lifetime, that's anybody. Black, white, Hispanic, or other. That's anybody. The problem is not a lack of men. See, what I really think is many sisters have spent a lot of time focusing on things to make themselves independent. That's because what was marketed to our community. Go get your degree, take care of yourself, and all that's fine. But the ability to relate and cooperate with a man of any race has never been stressed, because what men want more than anything else, black men in particular, you know what they want more than anything else, counselor?
What is that?
Cooperation. Not a PhD, not a snatched waist, not a big butt, not knockdown dragon. Cooperation. So, sounds to me as though you're an intelligent woman, but I think that even just with this little back and forth week between what we've had, I think we can see that there's a disconnect.
I agree.
So, and if we just extrapolate this disconnect out over the black community, it kind of explains why we're where we are, especially in our professional classes, where we have women who are attorneys and men who are college educated professionals or whatever. If we can't get it together, because the more a woman goes up, the harder it is for her to pair with somebody because the more she has. Last thing, the divorce rate across this country in the upper middle class is 20%. The divorce rate in the lower class is around 70%, which gives us the aggregate what we have. But the higher up you go in the black community, it's fair to say that it's harder for a black woman to find a mate, especially a black man. And that should not be. And until we start asking the question of why that is, we're not going to get any further down the path. But thank you for your input. Do you have anything else you want to add before we go?
No, thank you.
See, she's probably like, oh my God, don't roast. I'm not going to roast you. They got everybody thinking I'm going to roast them and toast them. And with your cute self, what city you in?
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, are you on the market?
I am now.
Okay. Well, 2021, I'll be profiling a healthy couple, a couple every month, but I'm also going to be profiling single men and single women, either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So stay tuned for that. So that'll help people try to help with their can't find each other thing.
Okay.
All right, counselor.
Thank you.
Don't sue me. Bye. All right. All right. So let's get on down to it. Okay. Who wants to speak? Who is this? Speaker view. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Hello. Your first name is? How old are you, D? 41? What do you got for me?
The statistics of women stating that they believe that there are a lot of marriageable men out there.
Okay.
I would be interested in knowing, are these single? What percentage of those women are single, or are they married? And think that.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Let me make a statement. One of the first things that we do, especially in the black community, is when we get a statistic or a number that comes back, we want to pick apart the study. Versus just accepting it for what it is. If you knew it was what percentage of single women would need to be in that study to make it, in that straw poll would make it valid for you.
I'm not saying that it's not valid. My interest is of if there were a majority of single women who are saying that there are marriageable men out there, then why is it that they're still single would be my question.
Say again?
If the majority of those women are currently single who are stating that there are a lot of marriageable men out there, my question would be, why are they still single? Like, what's the issue? For me,
well, okay. Well, hold on. Oh, I can tell you, I can look at the analytics in my channel.
Okay.
And my channel has about a 30% female. And I can see the age breakdowns and the reported statuses. I don't know. I'll check. I don't want to say that the marital status is in there, but I'll go check. But here's the thing. Even if we just say that if the YouTube numbers overlay the census numbers, 1 out of 4. So if 20, if you just say the majority are single, because that's the majority of black women are single. I don't know the difference it's going to make, other than saying, well, if they're single and saying we're all the married men, why aren't they married? What I read that as is women are starting to realize that maybe they have some work to do, and the issue is not necessarily always with men. How do you read it? You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
Oh, I think I unmuted. That could be a possibility. I didn't think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
My issue that I think I've ran into recently dating is men don't really tell you what they're looking for in a woman.
What do you mean?
They don't really give you their expectations of what they're looking for. Have
you been married?
I have not been married.
Do you have any kids?
I do have children.
Okay. Do you want to be married?
I do.
Okay. Where are you finding the men you're referring? The men you're referring to? Where are you interacting with these men?
Well, my last relationship I've been in 2 long-term relationships, one for 10 years, one for 8. Okay. And I met both of those people through mutual friends.
Okay. But the guys you're referring to now?
The guy that I'm referring to now, I actually met on a dating website.
Okay. Well, the obvious question would be, if you were in an 8-year relationship and a 10-year relationship, why did those not progress to marriage?
I think it was more on his part. I think the man that I chose wasn't ready for a commitment in neither relationship.
Did you have children with either one of those guys?
I do not.
So the children you had were before both of those?
Correct. I was with him for 5 years.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children, 19, 21, and 23.
And that was from when you were younger?
Yes.
And then you had a 10 and 8-year relationship?
Yes.
So let me make a suggestion. They didn't progress to marriage because you didn't make marriage a requirement at the outset.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's why you're not married. It was not because they weren't ready. It's because you didn't make marriage a requirement. Just like when you say men aren't being upfront with what they want, I disagree. I think it's more likely that you're just open to anybody and then tagging them saying they're not upfront.
Well,
I'm on dating websites too. And I'm out here too. And I will tell you that women who want to be married have no real problem, should have no real problem saying, I want to be married within this time frame, and if you're not marriage minded, don't deal with me.
Right. That's the approach I've taken currently. Previously I didn't, but going forward.
Okay, and how's that working out for you?
Well, it's going okay so far.
Is it filtering out the guys who don't want to be married?
Definitely.
Well then, ma'am, D, the problem isn't the man. The problem is with you not making a requirement. See, the problem I have with what you said is it shifts accountability to men instead of you. And what we just found out is through your short experience, you didn't require a 10-year man or an 8-year man to be a husband before you gave him 10 or 8 years.
Right.
That's fine. You can do that. That's cool. No heat, no judgment. But you can't say that men don't want to get married. That's what happens far too often. That women say that about all men versus saying, I didn't make a ring the requirement before I had a long term relationship or kids.
Right. And I think once we got into so after so many years had passed and we did talk about it, it was just like it just never happened.
Well,
And you know, I kind of
but the thing is, but here's the thing: how you start is how you end.
Mhm.
If it was do you have a daughter?
Yes, I do.
What would you tell your daughter to do differently than you did about your 10 or 8 year relationship?
I would tell her definitely don't go into a relationship without making it known what your expectations are.
And what did your father tell you?
My father didn't tell me anything,
What did your mother tell you?
and she's not married.
There you go. So you had to live it to tell your daughter not to do what I did, because if you'd known better, you'd have done better.
Yeah.
But it's not about the men. And that's what I need people to start understanding. Ladies, stop saying that men aren't this, men aren't that. When I say women need to have an aha moment. And before you actually progress to real long-term, healthy, committed relationship or whatever kind, accountability, honesty, and admission. And far too many women just bypass accountability because society has made it so easy for women like you and women like yourself, Dee, to just make those statements. Men aren't up front and this and that. We've made it so easy for you guys to make these statements without being challenged. And even when I just gave a little bit of pushback, we find that it's not necessarily true. But that affects my image as a black man. That affects every black man's overall ethnic image. That's why it's so easy to paint us as down low, shiftless, not wanting this, not wanting that, because women like yourself, who don't necessarily mean it that way, say things so flippantly, and you have sons too, right?
I do.
They're being affected by the same things that you said. So somebody with a daughter is looking at your son with what you said. And that's what we got to stop doing, in my opinion.
I agree.
All right. Appreciate it, Mom. Have a good day. See, okay, I see you with the hands up. Well, you got to raise your hand. Melina. Anise, I see you too. Who's Dr. Chris? Are you male or female? I don't see Melina in here.
Are you saying Melanie?
Melanie, I'm sorry.
Hi. Hi, Kevin.
How are you? What do you got for me?
I'm doing well. I wanted to kind of add to some of what you're saying.
Okay.
From what I have observed with my friends who are single and either unattached or in relationships that aren't necessarily going that way, and they're either approaching their 30s or in their 30s now. One of the things that I have observed is that my friends who have been unsuccessful so far kind of internalize their dating failures in a way that is harmful to them.
Okay, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 32.
Okay, are you involved?
I'm married.
Okay, all right. So your friends internalize their failed datings. Are any of them in therapy?
A couple of them are.
That's
But I
good.
don't think they're in therapy to talk about why they aren't doing well in relationships. I think
Okay.
they're in therapy to deal with other mental health issues that they are trying to either treat or maintain.
Okay. But how long you been married?
2.5 years.
And are most of your friends single?
Most of them are single, but I do have a few that are married.
Okay. I'm curious. 2.5, still a pretty new marriage. How does your husband like your friends?
Some of them, but not all of them.
I can imagine why. I wouldn't want my wife hanging out with a bunch of single women either. Single women and married women move differently. So one of the things that I think it's wise, just a personal opinion, take it. Married people really should be hanging with married people, and single people need to be hanging with single people.
I won't say that I don't hang with married people at all. Actually, a lot of the people that I'm the closest to in my family are married. Like pretty much all
Good.
the people in my family are married. So I'm still around people who like pour into me as far as relationships
Hmm.
and having a
Well,
healthy and
what
stable marriage.
ultimately what I'm saying is, women have a heart for other women, and I will
They
tell you.
do, but
Let me
you have to be realistic.
listen what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
I have dated women.
Hmm.
I have friends. We sit around and talk about this. One thing that men do not like is having to hear about other relationship problems in our four walls.
True. And I don't talk about them.
Good, good. Well, I mean,
I
if the thing is, if women are internalizing, I think that if you can witness and see that, I would say if you see that in your friends, maybe suggest that they go get some help with those issues too, because
I
spending
try,
one
but
play.
they don't listen. They
Well,
don't listen to me.
well, then you might want to.
I
Then you.
try.
Well,
I
all
mean,
right. Well,
Kevin, can I give you an example of this?
well, I got to get to some
Sure.
more people though. But I always am concerned about new marriages because we don't have our community, our culture is not healthy enough or strong enough to really support marriage and relationships. So
I
when they're
agree.
this young, I would rather see people. I'd rather not see single issues around there. That's just personal. But I'm going to go to Anise because she keeps raising her hand like this. Oh, hi. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can. What do you got?
Hi.
First, how old are you?
I'm 30. I turned 30 in August.
All right. What do you got for me?
So I am also an attorney and I have been practicing since 2017.
I'm a
And
PhD.
that I've met a lot of great single men, Black men who are who I think, after watching your videos and your channels are marriage material and who have expressed that they wanted to get married. Not particularly to me, but
Okay.
and some of them who I'm still friends with are married now. So it's just I think that your poll is really on point,
Okay.
especially because I'm not from
Now, you how old?
even working class.
You're
I'm
how
sorry.
old? You're how old?
I'm 30 and I'm from the inner city and
Do
I
you
have a
want to get married?
messy. I do.
Any kids?
No.
Any prospects of marriage? Any?
Yes.
Huh? No.
Yes.
You have a
Yes, I do.
marital prospects?
Oh, well, we're dating, but we're not we
So
just
let me define a marital prospect. Let me
okay.
define a marital prospect. When a man
Okay.
wants to get married, he goes looking for a wife. And
Yes.
men who are marriage minded can be married in under 6 months.
Yes.
And men who want to be married tend to start talking about marriage in the entrance before the first date. They make it real known because a lot of times people don't want to waste time. And
Yes. Yes.
oftentimes women misconstrue men's intentions. So when I'm
Mhm.
talking about a prospect, I mean a guy who's openly said, I want to be married inside the next 2 years and I want to have kids, this, that. Has that man expressed these kind of things to you, whether for
Yes.
you or not? Okay, cool.
Yes, he's 46. He's an executive for a tech company. He wants kids. I met him when I was in law school, like my first year of law school, and that we went on a date, and he expressed that day. But unfortunately, I wasn't ready. I'm still in therapy. I started therapy in law school, and
Okay.
my
How long you been in
therapist
therapy?
since 2017.
Holy, whoa! Wait a minute. Is there any clinical diagnosis?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
for child stuff.
Okay, but is there any medication?
Yes.
All right. But is it at a maintenance level now?
Yes,
All right.
yes. That's
So when is
why
the
I'm
next plate going to
starting.
start spinning?
What do you mean?
Well, therapy is meant to get us on with life. It's not meant to be
Yes.
and far too often people find they go to therapy and therapy becomes a relationship. No,
Mm-hmm.
spin the plate of therapy,
Right.
but once it gets to maintenance level, all right, now we need to get in a relationship. And you said that he
Yes.
met you when you were when you were in law school, but when did you graduate?
In 2016.
So 2016 he met you. You weren't ready. You've been in therapy since 2017.
Mhm.
At what point do you think you'll be ready to
Well, I
begin?
actually talked to my therapist and I talked about it earlier this year. And, for the first time since I've been in therapy, he expressed that he thought that it was appropriate for me to start dating.
So the question I was going to ask is, what point do you feel like you'd be ready to be a wife?
Now.
Huh?
Now.
Now.
Mhm.
Were your mother and father married?
No.
What training do you have to be a wife?
So interesting. I was not trained to be, well, the training that I have comes from my mentors who, and I hope I don't get dragged for this, who
No.
are
No.
who are non-Black women. They're older Jewish women
Okay.
in my field or
Ultimately,
who.
the question I ask is this reason.
Mhm.
Therapy, great. Pursuing
Mhm.
on down to dating. But at some point, we got to get into the scary part. We got to jump in the deep end of the pool.
Yes.
At what point do we actually get into commitment? And that's one of the things that we do so slow in Black America. We do the
Mhm.
starting part good, the
Right.
attraction part, but we don't get on we to the marriage part. So that's why I'm like, all right, you got everything else. At what point you say you're ready to be a wife?
Yes.
All right. So my thing is this. This is something I have no teaching and I can't teach you how to be a wife, but so many of us never saw relationships model, help being a healthy a wife
Exactly.
model, especially a
Yes.
wife. And unfortunately, so many women will say, "I'm ready now," but
Kevin,
you
you're absolutely right. You're
right.
absolutely right. In fact, I grew up seeing the opposite. I grew up
Well, what
in
I'm
East
ultimately saying is,
Baltimore seeing very abusive women.
what I'm ultimately saying is, maybe your heart is ready, but maybe your skills aren't. That's
Okay.
ultimately what I'm saying, because women will all,
I've
I'm
heard
ready
you say
now,
that. Yeah.
yeah, but see, the thing is, you're asking someone to hire you for a job that you have no experience, hoping you can perform and do the duties, and if not, you can take half their shit
Right.
upon
That's
being
true.
fired. That ain't gonna work.
Right.
So this is why I don't care about love so much after 27. I care about being
Mm-hmm.
practical. You say you're dating someone who's an executive, such and so forth. What kind of wife would he need, and can you be that wife if he chose to ask you? If you
Right.
don't,
He talks about that a lot.
but the question is, do you know you could do the job? That's what I.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. He's very vocal about it. And I've been dating since I was in high school, but
Dating
I
and dating
never
and marriage are
committed.
two different things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just
So
never
I would
committed.
say this
Mm-hmm.
before I would sit down with you know, there needs to be resources that I'm actually trying to put together some stuff right now. We need therapy
Mm-hmm.
as a group, but we also need coaching, training, and development, because a lot of us believe we can do things that honestly we might not be able to do. We may have the skills, we may have the desire, even the potential, but putting us in the game for it is a completely different thing. And that's what's missing. The questions I'm asking you,
Yes.
you really can't answer
Mm-hmm.
in a definitive enough way to
Yes.
where most men, I'll just be honest, the most men would accept. That's why so many guys are like, women aren't marriageable,
I know
because
I can't cook. I signed up for a cooking class before COVID and
you
I still
cannot
haven't gotten my
cook.
deposit back. No. So that's why I'm just like,
This is why I'm like, so all right, this you're an attorney,
yeah,
you're so you would this is what I mean. So many of our women can
I know.
earn
I
and
know.
make money, but who's going to, and this is why wife school.
Right.
Many don't even know what's required to be a wife, because the what is Dr. Ali talked about, the maintenance of a child cooking, cleaning, that's just the maintenance of a kid. That's not the
Yeah.
raising of a kid. And that's no diss. It's just we didn't see it. And we have to acknowledge that we didn't see it and we have to go learn. See, a lot,
Yeah.
and men are told you got to get out there and level up and become a man you never saw, such and so forth. That's
Yeah.
fine, men. Throw that on their back. But what we got to start doing is getting women up to the point to where the men are confident enough to start asking for marriage. That's the problem. If 83% of men say that women aren't marriageable, this is why we don't have any lots of proposals. But I appreciate you calling in, Ma.
Thank you.
And stay in tune. I love to see how this follows up.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So we start learning. Yeah. Um. So in 2021, Desiree, go ahead. In 2021, I'm going to be profiling a healthy couple of the month across all my platforms as an example of what's possible. I'm also going to try to pick from the followers and subscribers a weekly, monthly, or weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly man and woman to just kind of promote like the Bachelor of the Month, Bachelorette of the Week, whatever. But then, like I said, we're all the therapists and counselors and all the resources to help people. Wife school, cooking classes. If you're involved in anything relational, here's my email. Send me an email. Put together a network of resources for people trying to actually take it to the next level, to where we can actually bring value to the table, to where men and women both feel like they're getting a solid deal, to where nobody feels like they're being taken advantage of or hustle. What's going on, Ma?
Hey, how are you, Kevin? I missed you.
What's going on now?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. What you got for me?
Awesome. Okay, so I think you kind of touched on this already, but I'm just going to say it anyway because I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So I know your topic right now, you said it was more so about how women feel like they're overqualified and how the men feel like there's not a lot of, qualified women. From just speaking from our Black community, I think there is problems from both sides, but it's still more so the women fault because from my experience, my dad's
Let me change
military,
the fault. Let me
so
change the word fault. The opportunity lies with women because we got to start being, because
yes,
saying fault is going to trigger people. It's not women's
okay,
fault. This is corporate speak. It's not fault. The opportunity area for you ladies is here. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, and thank you for correcting me.
That's all right because you know it's how you say stuff.
Yeah, I no, it is seriously.
You gotta be able to laugh at
People,
yourself, man. Go ahead.
I know people are so sensitive, but yeah. So what I've seen just growing up, my dad being military, I'm just used to direct men. I'm used to assertive men. I'm used to men that really just, they're gonna tell it how it is, but they're still gonna respect you in a way as well too. The men that I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen growing up is there is a lot of Black men that I don't know if it's because they've been raised by single mothers, they don't have a lot of male influence in their life, but I just feel like they want the woman to kind of control the relationship.
Yep.
And I don't like a relationship like that. And I can't function with a relationship like that because for me, I love my man to be a man, and I'm probably shortening my choices down because I do want a Black man, because I love when a Black
Well,
man is confident and you guys are assertive. And it's just something about you, and I just love it, And to me, in my eyes, in my perspective,
and
that's how I view it.
this is an opportunity area for men as well, to because as us being raised by our mothers, you cannot help being raised by a mother, not having a father in the household. Yes, there are a lot of guys who saw women in leadership positions. This is something that many men have to learn how to overcome and compensate as well. But see, the thing is, this is why self-awareness becomes so important. And I'm working with a group right now to actually start putting out resources for people to actually, in the comfort of their own home, actually gauge their actual self-awareness of who they are. See, when we come into this in good faith and saying, I didn't have a daddy, you didn't have a daddy. I was raised by my mama, you was raised by my mama. We all jacked up. Yep, I'm jacked up too. I'm in therapy. You in therapy. All right, cool. Well, what do you want? What do you want? And we all figure out we got to do something, but we can have. That's a more honest thing, other than saying all I gotta do is go down here and make money. And all I gotta do is be hot. That does not work. Um, and to hear, and I would tell you this, black men, listen to me and listen well. You will hear a lot of sisters say that they are good with splitting the bills or 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. It's been my experience that most black women want you to be able to pay all the bills, whether they say it or not. Do with that information as you will. And honestly, in my personal opinion, it's better if you can pay all the bills, live at your budget, make a decision. But there's a problem when, just like Sis said, when you put leadership position onto hips. Stress is made for shoulders, not hips. I said that before. And just because you were raised by a mother doesn't mean you cannot become the man that you never saw. That's something that men need to hear from men and need to be able to see in themselves. You can become the man you never saw and break that quote unquote generational curse. It has to start somewhere. It's not fair that it happened that way, but we don't get to choose life. We can only choose how we deal with it. But we're back. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll be back on Thursday. I got to get through these people, Destiny.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let's see who has an issue here. Alexandra. And then A. Marie. Okay, Alexandra. How?
Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on. Hi. First name. Your first name? And how old are you? Yeah, and how old are you? What do you got for me? Okay, what do you have for me? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I stumbled upon your videos at a pivotal point in my life. So I'm about to graduate with my finance degree, and I'm actually moving the cross country for a job in my field. So I'm kind of wondering how I can market myself in a new city where I hear the dating scene is kind of brutal. So I wonder if you have any advice on that.
Okay. It's really not what we're talking about tonight. The conversation is about modern women being overqualified. But what region are you in? What part of the country?
I'm currently in the New York metropolitan area.
Say again? I couldn't hear you.
I'm currently in the New York metropolitan area.
And how can you market yourself? Are you basically trying to see how you can put yourself out there to find a man?
I guess.
Well, I don't know. Is that what it is? What's the outcome you want?
To be married, kids.
All right.
It's just a new city, so I'm kind of.
All right. So
I get called back another time.
Yeah, it'd probably be better.
better.
Be better to call back another time because this is kind of convoluted. But there's a at the end of the day, if you're moving into a major city, a major area, getting plugged into a local, whether you go to church for religious reasons or not, go to a mega church, getting active in your community, active in meetup groups, active in charity or philanthropy. You got to get out. Join the gym where all the executives go. Don't just join the gym that's the least expensive. Lots of different things. And actively network. Find the nice side of town where the cigar houses are, the steak houses. Eat at the bar. Those kind of things. There's a lot that you can do to get out and make yourself available to the kind of men that you would like to pick you. Got it? We'll come back on another day. Maybe it'll be a better subject. Okay. All right. So we have a lot of people in here. What I want to try to do is go through the people who have a disagreement or an issue. A. Marie, did you have an issue? Who has, I'm going to lower all the hands and I want to see who has Jennifer, do you have a disagreement? Okay, we're going to go to Jennifer. Ask Jennifer to unmute herself.
What's so bad about finishing single and with no kids? Because with those around me, I see that women do get married. Half of my family side is Hispanic, so we tend to live for the man. However, once they start approaching 50, they end up getting divorced and they have several kids, and their kids end up
What's the
moving away.
disagreement? What's the disagreement?
So my disagreement is what's the issue with ending up old and single and without kids?
Old, single, without kids?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, who's gonna come take care of you when you're sick? I mean, first off, are you what do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a teacher.
All right. So at the local level, high school level, college level?
High school.
So you're not rich. You're middle class.
Yeah.
You're middle class. It's no offense, man. You're a normal, average, everyday person. This country is not set up for single, unmarried women with no children for end-of-life care. No society is set up for that. And women are an exceptional burden on the taxpayers. Who is going to come take care? You have medical issues. Something happens. Who is going to take care of you? Who's going to come take care of you? Who's going to come provide for you? You get injured or hurt. You break an ankle. Who's going to come do something for you? Because you got to pay for that. And you're not rich.
Who's to say if I do have kids that my kids?
But no. But see, I asked you, who's going to take care of it? And now you want to go back and play devil's advocate. Answer my question first.
My sister.
Your sister. So, how old is your sister has no children?
No.
And she wants to be your partner through the rest of life?
We talked about it, yes.
Okay. My aunts were the same way. But the thing is, I saw this. I'm going to tell you how it ends. It doesn't end well typically. Two people who grow old together, who are siblings, tend to have lots of regret. So to ask what's wrong with it, it's a choice, but I'm just saying, make sure you're happy with the choice. Because the holidays, Christmas is here in a few days. You have no one to celebrate it with, except who?
My siblings and my mother.
Right. And your mother passes, your siblings, your sister. Do any of your siblings have children? I mean, families?
No.
Okay. Well, if that's what makes you happy, ma'am.
But
here's the ultimate thing also. Society is all right with men living in their 40s, 50s, 60s, falling and breaking the hip. There's not a lot of resources for us. It's dangerous. It's more dangerous for women to be. Women are far more vulnerable. How about that? You're far more vulnerable to society. And if your sister decided to change her mind and decide to go partner with somebody, what else? What are your options at that point? And you're like 60.
Divorced.
Huh?
Yeah, she got divorced. She's younger than me, and she got divorced within 3 years.
Okay.
So there's that. But you don't think that sometimes being alone is better than being bickering? I have a neighbor. She bickers all the time with her husband.
See, that's a false choice. I'm not going to accept that. You asked me if being alone is better than living like this. Then I can only answer one way. How about being like my mother, who actually has somebody there, so where she's sick or ill, go to the doctor. My mother's living better than she ever has, and she got married after 50. See, I don't accept the false choices. It's like, well, I would rather be single than that. Is that the only way it can go? How about this? What's the longest? Have you ever had a healthy relationship with a man?
I had a 6-year relationship, but it was unrequited.
I said healthy.
No.
And that's so. What's the problem with having a healthy relationship with a man?
I guess I was turned off from that relationship, and therefore I
Okay,
just
so
don't
we're
want
okay. That
anything
one
with anybody.
relationship is the sum total of every other relationship. Does that make? And how old are you?
26.
Okay, 26 years old. You had a 6-year relationship that was unrequited. Were you in the
Yeah.
same? Were you in the same state, same city?
Yes.
So
He
you're
was
going.
my
So
boss.
so at 26 years old, you're going to give up on the rest of life because one relationship didn't work out. Ben Franklin. Some men die at 25 and aren't buried until 75. Life is a long time to be given up on so soon, young lady. This is why I say therapy is needed. What you're saying makes no sense. You're already preparing to die before you've even started to live. 26. And you're already planning to die.
But I'm just so free alone.
Yeah, you're free. Yeah, you can be free, ma'am. But see, at 26, this is why insurance rates are so low when you're 26, because you really don't see end of life coming. But when you're double your age and you feel those years and you're not so, and you're, do what you want, ma'am. Just understand there's a cost to everything. But it sounds as though fear is driving you more than anything else, not optimism. You're a teacher and you had a bad relationship. So, due respect, let's not make this, women's liberation and you're the wind beneath your wings and you're out here soaring like an eagle. I don't accept from what you just told me, that's not what's going on. But I get it. It's just not healthy. That's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. I would suggest therapy and trying to live a full life, because life is about people. And you and your sister, you muted yourself. Life is about people. We need people. And women, you're the more social of us. We need people around us. And at 26, it's just not even normal to start shutting down at this young of an age. So I would say go talk to somebody and see if you can. And if this is ultimately your choice, then live it. But just make it a choice, not just, something that you just ended up backing yourself into because you were too afraid or too scared or too fearful of being hurt, rejected, or to take a risk for anything else. That's the regret a lot of older people tend to have at the end of life. When people are in their 80s, 90s, or 70s, 80s, and 90s, you don't tend to hear them. Go sit with older, elderly people at an old folks' home. And what you're not going to hear them talk about, they're not going to talk about money so much. They're going to often talk about regret.
I do. And I guess that's where it's coming from, because I see they made the investment when they were young. And at the end, it didn't pan out. They ended up
you're
alone
26 years
anyways.
old. Okay. And if you're telling me what you've seen, well, I'm telling you, expand your, okay. You sound like you've lived a very small life. And you can have confirmation bias about the examples you've seen, but you're 26. Due respect, you haven't lived enough. I'm 51. I'm twice your age, and I'm telling you.
I guess it
Therapy would
turned
be good.
me off enough that I became
Okay.
asexual. Sure.
Okay, well, I've given you the best I can give you.
Okay.
Thank you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your life. You can choose to live it however you want to, but it's not live. It doesn't really sound like living. Who has a disc? A Marie. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hello. Hold on. Does anybody have a disagreement? If you have a hold on. If you have a disagreement, raise your hand on the screen. Because I'm seeing people with their hands raised in the chat room. Well, go ahead, unmute yourself. Hello. Okay. Your
It's
first
not
name?
important, so that's why I didn't raise my hand.
Okay, your first name?
But you said that
Your first name?
Lovey.
Okay, go ahead.
You said that most Black women expect the man to take the bulk of the responsibility as far as bills and stuff go. And I just don't agree with that. Like
Okay.
from my experience, from how I feel, and from my friends, I think that 2 incomes can always get you so much more than 1.
Okay.
That's it. It wasn't that big a deal.
I didn't say have 1 income. I said black. I said,
With what
hold
the
on.
man to pay out
Listen.
bills.
I listen to you. Please don't overtalk me. You and your friends, I'm not going to dispute that, but I've been talking to women for going on a year now. And and night after night, Black women come on this show saying that they would like to be able to be married and have a husband and kids and would not like to have to pay significant bills after they're married. There's months and months and months and months of this. And before this show happened, there's 30 plus years of living. So I accept that what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this. Ultimately, women, especially black women would like, I'm not going to argue it anymore. So you mean to tell me that, well, if you guys are going to live, it takes 2 incomes. I agree, to live a middle class life. But ultimately, who would you want the financial responsibility to fall on in a marriage? If it had to fall upon one of you, who do you want it to fall on to? You
Well,
or
I
your
wouldn't want
husband?
it to fall on either one of us, but if
No,
it fell
but
on
that's
me,
not the.
so be it. If it
But
falls on him, so be it.
I asked you a question. If I know you wouldn't want it to, but if it had to fall on one of you, who would you want it to fall on to?
I don't know how to answer that because I wouldn't want it
Yes,
to
you
fall on
do.
either one of us.
Yes, you do. You just don't want to answer.
No,
Yes, you do. I gave you an okay, ma'am. It has to. If it has to fall on one of you, that means it's going to happen. Do you want to be the breadwinner, or do you want him to be the breadwinner?
okay, so thinking about it, maybe I would want him to be the breadwinner because men make more money than women.
Okay. So ultimately, ma'am, most women feel that way. They want the ultimate responsibility. They don't want to see it happen that way, but at the end, they want the responsibility over there. And that's natural and that's normal. And what I'm saying is we need to start saying that more because far too many women are upset today when they're hearing men talk about 50-50, when the last 30 years men have been told, hey, women are going out and getting your own degree, getting this, getting that, getting a job, being able to pay their own ways. There are some men who actually believe that it's insulting to women to offer to pay 100%. Because that's what they've been raised to believe. They think it's insulting to open a door for a woman. They think it's insulting to pull out her chair. They think it's insulting to split anything, to pay, to reach out. And I'm telling guys, that may be what you heard, but at the end of the day, women all pretty much have the same core programming. At the end of the day, if there's a bump in the night, they want you to go take the bullet, not them. If Freddy Krueger or Jason is running at you, even if they're bigger than you, they want you to take the knife. And at the end of the day, if it all fell apart, they want the financial responsibility to fall on you, not them, because that's how we are socialized. That's how we evolve. That's how we're raised. Black folks are no different in this regard. Appreciate your call though. All right, who has a disagreement? Oh, I guess I'll go another 20 minutes because it's a little late. Christina, do you have a disagreement? Your hand is up. No, her hand's not up. Jody, your hand's down. Miss Carter, is your hand up? Do you have a? Okay. Let's do this one. You have okay. I know plenty of women who look okay. You can need to get on camera if you're gonna. Okay, here we do. I don't do the anecdotal thing. Go ahead, unmute yourself. I can. Your first name is? Go ahead. First off, are modern women overqualified for marriage?
You know, I actually typed in the chat box, what is your definition of modern women? Because I think that kind of clears, you know.
Women in 2020. I mean, take the question as it were, ma'am. I don't. You can answer it however you like to answer it. Modern women. I don't really know. You want me to give you the Webster's Dictionary?
No.
Working women. Modern working women.
Like educated, highly educated. I'm assuming high paying.
They can be that. They can be that. They can be highly educated. They can just have a high school education. But what women today are not the women that were raised in our grandparents, great grandparents, silent generation. Women today are different. I mean, we're socialized differently. We're raised differently. Mm-hmm. And many women feel as though they're overqualified for marriage. I ran down at the beginning of the broadcast. I went over 11 things that women are often told not to settle because you have all these things.
No,
and ultimately make them overqualified. Go ahead.
I definitely don't believe that women are overqualified. You know, they can be educated, very highly intelligent, attractive, know how to, and domesticated, know how to keep a house, know how to raise children.
Hold on. You say they do know how to do these things?
Yes.
So most women know how to keep a house and raise children?
Yes. The women that I know, yes, they all know how.
All right, to. But due respect, we're talking about far more than just the women you know.
Right.
So when I'm talking about, especially in the Black community, what percentage of Black women would you say have the skill sets that the women of the women you're talking about?
Of keeping a home, raising children.
Yeah, what percentage of Black women in the country? What percentage of Black women in the United States have those skills?
I would say more than half, probably about 70%.
So, at the beginning of the broadcast, I put up a straw poll that I asked, and of almost 7,600 male respondents, 83% of men said that women today do not qualify to be marriageable. And then I asked the same thing of women, and they said only 30% of men aren't qualified as marriageable. But what I'm hearing you say is fully 70% of women have these wifely skills.
Yes, sir.
Why is it the men don't see it just saying? Why is it the men surveyed don't see what you're saying, and they're out here dating them?
Well, I think that perhaps it's the type of women that they're dating, because if you're looking for someone who knows how to cook, who can keep a home, who can raise children, she may have children. She may be struggling with her weight.
Man, hold on. How old are you?
But
hold on. How old? 30?
Yes, sir.
30?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm 51, and let me give you a little background. I've been dating since I was 15. In my 36 years of dating and 2 failed marriages, I've known 2 women that could cook. 2. I can go onto my mixed group and pull up 400 men who will tell you the same thing. Ma'am, due respect, there may be something to be said about the women that these men are choosing, but I think it's kind of disingenuous to just overlook and say the majority of men aren't seeing what's really out there. If 70% of women, in particular, are we talking about black women? If 70% of black women could do this kind of stuff, why are 1 in 4 married? To anybody.
Well, you're asking me a question,
Yeah,
correct?
if 70% of black women have these wife skills, why can 1 in 4 expect to be married to anybody?
Well, in my opinion, I believe that a lot of people aren't looking to be married. That's why they aren't.
Okay, 2019, divorces were at a 50-year low in the United States. 2019, new marriage filings were at a 50-year high. People are still getting married, man. When I on this channel, especially even in my group, roughly now it's about 600. At the time it was like 800 black men and black women. Of the 400 men asked, "Do you want to be married?" 397 said yes. 3 said no. In less than 4 months, going on 5 months of having this group, 5 couples have gotten together in my Facebook group. 2 on their way to being married. And it's just a group I threw together as a happenstance. Ma'am, men want to be married. And what I'm hearing and what I'm trying to show you, ma'am, is the disconnect that you have there's a disconnect between what women believe and what men are saying they see. That's all I'm trying to show you. Not that you're wrong, that you ladies just see something different than what the men are seeing.
The only thing that I'm thinking about is how a lot of our parents or grandparents, like I said, I'm in my 30s. My mother is in her 60s, grandmother in her 80s. And they were taught the value of keeping a home and cooking, cleaning, and they were married, right? But then a lot of those marriages ended up in divorce and things like that. And even though that those generational things were taught to, from grandmother, mother, from mother to daughter, I think that sometimes modern women don't necessarily think that that's enough to keep a husband.
Well,
Just
hold
knowing.
on. Let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
How do modern women don't think that it's enough, but how do
Yes,
they
sir.
know? See, what it is modern
Well,
women aren't asking men what they want. That's the ultimate answer. You ladies are out here making up what you want. And when men want fit, feminine, cooperative, single, childless, that's basically what men want. Fit, feminine, cooperative, single, childless. That's what most men want of any socioeconomic status. Cooperation being at the top for everything. And I get what you're going to say, that women in the past had all those wifely skills, but ended up in divorce. We didn't have a divorce rate of over 51%, but prior to 1965, the black community was married at a rate of 80%. We were the most married in this country. 80%. 80. But now we have a marital rate where 1 in 4 black women can expect to be married, and of those 1 in 4, when a divorce happens, 80% is filed by sisters. Ma'am, what we have to really start doing is asking men what they want. And if men are saying they're not seeing marriageable women, it's not because they're dating thoughts. It's because the women that they're seeing aren't marriageable. And I got to tell you, ma'am, if you really believe 70% of women out here can cook, clean, take care of kids, and do all the stuff like mama, big mama, and grandmama and them, you are what neighborhood are you in? Because we all need to go there. What country you live? What state you live in?
Well, I live in DC, but
DC. So what we fellas
but
in
hold on,
DC
hold on.
in DC.
But I was raised in the nation,
Okay.
so
Well,
these
but again, the nation
values
ain't.
that
But the nation is not. The nation isn't this country, ma'am. So come on, let's be honest.
I know the nation isn't, it
You know,
isn't
if you're
representative.
born
It
in the
isn't.
nation, Shahrazad Ali been talking about this since 1989. Hello. Really?
Well, I mean,
Really?
but
Really?
you have to understand that the things that you're talking about have been instilled in me since I was a young
But ma'am, I
girl.
didn't
So
ask, but I asked you in this country. See, I asked you not anecdotally, I asked you of all black women in this
mhm.
country. And you said 50, maybe even 70%. You didn't say in the nation, you just said in this country. That's
Well,
what you
I mean,
said.
because in the nation that would be 100%,
But that's not
and
what but
that's
ma'am, but that's not what I
right, and
asked you.
that's why I brought my numbers down to, be mindful of the people who aren't necessarily
Okay,
in the nation, but people
okay,
that
ma'am,
are
but
grown in
what
the
you
church.
brought your numbers down to, what you brought your numbers down to for outside of the nation was still half of all black women. As much as 70% of all black women. And that's you being conservative. And what I'm telling you is when 83% of men surveyed say that women are not qualified for marriage, you got to listen to that instead of your conservative estimation that 50 to 70% of women have wife duties and wife skills. When the previous caller, the previous person right before you said she didn't have, the previous women said they didn't know none of that. Did you hear them?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I mean. You see, the cognitive dissonance, or women, you just don't want to look at what men are saying, even when you hear it from women. I don't get that. And to be in the nation, and as an avid, I actually, and the post I made actually referenced Shahrazad Ali today. I'm baffled.
Well, I'm gonna be honest and say that this is literally the first time that I've listened to you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually stumbled upon your video earlier today, probably about 2 or 3 hours ago.
Okay.
And so I got online and I saw that you were on live, and
Well,
I thought
let
this,
me say this.
with the session. So I can't lie and say that I'm well versed on
That's
the
okay.
different
But
content
you do know who Shahrazad Ali is.
No, I don't know who that
Okay, well,
is.
go look up Shahrazad Ali. But then how about this? What we can say is this: whether you know me or my content or any of that stuff, what we can say is that, as non-scientific as it was, the 7,600 votes on a post, men said 83%. 83% of people said 83% of men said that modern women are not qualified for marriage, qualified marriageable. And you got to listen to that. That's what we're ultimately, if we want to see more relationships and marriages, you got to give the consumer, men, the product they want, which is women. And I think it's fair to say that you're not seeing a overwhelming amount of black marriages today outside of the nation. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
All right. If you're not seeing that, the problem has to be where, and we've been saying the problem is often been put and said, well, it's men that don't want to get married. Well, if that were true, then black women should still be getting married to non-black men at a higher rate. But 1 in 4 can expect to be married. I will say this: brothers still want to get married. They just want a better quote unquote product, which is black women to at least understand what black men are saying they want at a very basic level. And that's where the conversation has been missed.
I think another important part to add is that Black women are tend to be, in my opinion, so if there's a statistic out there, but Black women tend to be loyal to Black men. So even though you said, maybe we would see more Black women married to, other races, I definitely feel like Black women have a stronger loyalty to staying and waiting for Black men. And so
hold on. All right. Now we're gonna have okay. We're gonna have a problem now. Because there's no movement with Black men. I'm not gonna say that. Look, let's just take what you're saying is true. Black women have a loyalty to Black men. All right. So if Black women tomorrow stopped having this loyalty to Black men, what? What are the marital rates going to do for Black women in general?
I think that the marital rates will go up.
Okay. Okay.
Because Black men want to be married.
Okay. All right. But if 1 in 4 Black women can expect to be married, are you actually positing that the reason 1 in 4 Black women can expect to be married is because they solely want to marry Black men? Because I got to tell you, ma'am, I don't see Brad, Lee, Ahmed, Keith, and Enrique run into the Black community trying to scoop up Black women to marry. That's just not what I see. Black women have always had access to marry Black. Loving versus Virginia. Black women have always been able to marry white men. There are movements talking about dating out, and I got no problem with it. But here's the thing. The majority of any group wants to be with its own group. The answer is never going to be for one group to go somewhere else. It's ultimately going to be for the women to give the men what they want. If you want men to buy marriage, you're going to have to sell them what they want. And it doesn't matter if it's a Black man or a white man, Hispanic man, Asian man, Vietnamese man, a Chinese, Asian man. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. No, come on, ladies. Come on. Issa Rae made a comment. Hey, you know what? Black women are at the bottom. Asian men are at the bottom. We should all hook up. And did Asian men rush out and be like, hey, let me go start marrying Black women? Problem is not that. The problem with marriage is at the end of the day, you got to give the consumer what they want. Simple. As simple as that. It may sound cold and analytical, but that's really what it comes down to. And if 83% of the consumers think that they're not going to get what they want, they're not going to buy. All right, I got to wrap this one up. Before we get out of here, let me lower all the hands because I don't know anybody has a disagreement. Lower hand, lower hand, lower hand, lower hand. Because they leave you and marry. Okay. You can go ahead and get on camera. Now, if you're going to just give me some opinions, that's fine, but you're going to have to come up with some. Unmute yourself. Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Yes. Your first name. Hi, Jody. How old are you? 27. What do you have for me? Because we are worth getting married to is the thing, and they'll leave you and marry another woman in less than a year. Oh, really? Are you married?
Yes. I was saying because someone was saying, oh, they string us out, Black men string us out, and then whatever. And I was saying, well, if you're marriageable, then that wouldn't happen because if they leave you, sorry, my voice is I have a little sore throat, but they'll leave you and then they'll marry another Black man. And you wonder how. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They don't all string for everybody. It had to be some reason why they didn't choose you. They chose someone else.
Okay.
And to your question, I don't think modern women are overqualified well intellectually. They're underqualified in a lot of qualities that they should possess is what I see that they don't have. Besides, having education, like the qualities of a wife, of a housewife, um, a feminine housewife, because you do have women that are at home but are not very feminine. They don't really cook as much, clean as much. They don't really dress neatly around the house or something to that effect. But that's just mostly what I think, in the qualities of, what I see that men want in a woman as far as my husband is more of keeping my body up, of course, and education too.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in, man. Okay.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
all right. You guys are going. Okay. If you guys got a lot to say in the chat room, but you're not gonna talk the right way, can we discuss how we proud to majority of hold on, most modern black. Okay. Who is Janelle? All right, let's do this. Huh. All right, well, here we go. We're going to try to get this one. Janelle, you have something that you like to add? Oh, hi, how are you? How old are you?
I'm 40.
All right. You said the most modern black men are not quality husband material. What did your husband have to say about that?
Well, he is of quality material. He's at work right now, but
So how do you know most black men aren't that if you're already married?
because before I married him, I was in this dating pool like you. I've been dating for
How long you been married?
2 years.
All right. So you mean to tell me that
But we've been together.
Hold on, but I need to ask you. You mean you're okay with coming onto a platform and saying that most black men aren't something because of a dating pool you've been in?
No, that's not what I'm saying, baby. I'm saying modern. We're talking about modern men. We're not talking about your high value men.
I didn't
We're
say anything
talking
about
about
high value.
modern men.
All right. You've been married, you've been dating. Okay. You've been married for 2 years. How long were you
Yes.
dating?
We've been together since I was 33. And we have a
So
child together. So we have a
So
family.
you've been out of the dating scene. You've been out of the dating scene for 8 years.
Doesn't matter.
Oh no, it does matter.
You clowning the females while you're.
Yeah, that shit ain't gonna work. Yeah, you can try that somewhere else, but that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. See, this is you got a woman on here who claims to be married for 2 years, been out of the dating scene for 8 years, but then you still got all this for black men. Yeah, carry that somewhere else on. I'm not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. Not gonna have it. But see, that's what they really want to do. Your husband, what your husband have to say? Oh, he's not here. Let me go ahead and talk. Let me go ahead and talk shit about black men. Okay. Yeah, wrong platform. I think you might do better finding another place. Because I'm not going to just go back and forth and have arguments about a woman. If you're married, you really shouldn't even be here talking about other men. Personal opinion. What dog do you have in the fight? But I think it's a good point that if you're happy in your situation, put it this way. In our community, we don't really have a strong support group for family and cult and for marriages. Do married people speak well about marriage? Or they speak how bad, I'm married, but that over there is terrible. We're going to have a different conversation. We have to have a different conversation. And honestly, men are tired of hearing that they're always the problem. You know, men have been taken to task, held up to a microscope, and there is a lot that goes on with men. For 3 years, I talked to men day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out about you need to get out here, be working 60 hours a week that you're getting paid for, get your mind right, get your body right, between 18 to 30, grind it out, find your purpose, all these other things, get your standard up so where you can be able to take care. You want femininity, beautiful, inspirational. You want to be able to pay the cost to be the boss. Then you need to be able to do these things because beauty costs. All right, men have been told that they're not good enough and they need to go back and do better. But what we're starting to see is women aren't really doing so well with being told that there's some improvement needed on your side too. And if 83% of men in that straw poll say that, you know, modern women aren't really qualified to be qualified to be marriageable. You can't say who hurt you, your mama black, you gay. I mean, shame, insults, guilt, they need to be right. The old playbook ain't gonna work. You're going to have to go to the consumer to ask her questions. We always talk about how educated and smart we are in business. All right, well, if you had a business and you were trying to sell to a market, you wouldn't go try to shame the market. You wouldn't go try to insult the market. You do market research. You do market analysis. You would survey the market. You'd actually go out and do taste tests and this and that. You would try to entice the market to come to buy instead of saying, what? You ain't no man if you can't handle what we got to sell. That's not working, ladies. So you may not like my approach. You may not like what I do. I'm not going to change it. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to the right, you're looking to the left, you're looking front, you're looking behind, and all around you are women, and there are no single men there. There may be men there, but are they married men? If there's not a substantial amount of single men there, then who are you talking to? Because at the end of the day, that's who's purchasing. That's who's buying. The men. All right. So, I got to get out of here. It's after midnight. I'm sorry, ladies. We have too many people to get in. There's no way to get through all these. Thursday night will be our next show. Thursday night will be our next show. Tomorrow on Wednesday will be the circle, the thing on the Clubhouse app. Tuesday and Thursday to the rest of the year. So I'm really supposed to be out, but there's a lot of stuff we need to get off. Need to talk about. Got to have conversations about. And it promises to be interesting. Because at the end of the day, black men, also, you need to start saying what you want. For the productive, competitive, successful men who got your head down, doing what you need to do, you need to start standing up and saying what you want, because a lot of people are speaking for you and telling you what you want. And if you're not saying anything, you cannot get upset that the market doesn't know. You cannot expect the market to know what you want if you don't open your mouth and advocate for yourself. I get it. You're busy out there hustling and grinding and such and so forth, but women aren't mind readers. So men, you need to start speaking up and saying, no, I do want this. No, I do want that. No, I don't like that. Yes, I do like this. And I know the hesitation some of you have. Well, if I say that, I'm going to get chastised or this and that. Well, bruh, what's the alternative? That's what it is right now. Everybody can't speak for you. It's time for men to start speaking for yourselves. Like I said, the gender war, as far as I'm concerned, is over. Now, over here, it's time to negotiate the peace. What the men want, what the women want, how do you hammer out a deal 1-to-1? All that other BS, they can go out somewhere else with that. Not trying to hear that. Not trying to hear it. Not trying to hear it. Not trying to hear it. All right. So, that's how we're done for tonight. I got some stuff to do tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in. As usual, until next time, Peace. You know how this is. We are. Here we go. Gone. Email your show idea to show idea at info@bykevinsamuels.com or ask your question in the subject line, Ask God Problem. And I'm actually making a 5-10 minute video responding to you. But respect my inbox. You want to book some one-on-one time with me? I have some limited spots available for the rest of the year. Go to bykevinsamuels.com. Go into booking and book your time. What I have is what I have left available. Respect my inbox, so guys. So tell your there we go. We'll be back on IG this weekend. Follow me on IG. Videos you will only see there over in the flat room. When they're up, they're up. When they're down, they're down. If you send me a DM on Instagram, there's a really good chance I will see you. With 135,000 Instagram followers, I've been inundated with emails, direct messages. Still trying to get caught up from all of this stuff. The best way to get in contact with me is send an email. Make sure it's about business, please. Appreciate it. Right now it's just a busy time. Nothing can stop me. Appreciate the love though. Support the movement, support the channel, support the platform. The easiest way to do it is via Patreon. That's the consistent way to do it. Set it for so many things going on right now, but the patrons make this thing all possible. One love to the patrons. Patreon, the patrons. There we go. So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now. Remember, guys, no matter what it is, life is choice driven. You get to choose, you don't get to choose what happens to you, only how you respond. Keep your head down, work, get on your purpose, get out there, get on your hustle and grind, draw life to relationships. If you want something to happen, advocate for yourself, get out there. You can change what you do and how you respond to your situation. So next time, peace. We're out of here. Later.